Hi, Bookstahuda! I have to apologize for missing uploading yesterday. It wasn't my dad, but I was coming home. I was in the car essentially all day. I just did not have time to film or upload, and rather than upload something really crappy, I figured I'd just blank slate it and do a double good video for you today. Today and tomorrow's video will be parts 1 and 2 of a video that I have like 20 minutes of footage for about the best books I read during university. So part 1 will be roughly ancient times to, let's say, the end of the Middle English era. And then the second day, part 2, will be after Middle English to the present. Maybe if you see one of these books on your syllabus coming up, if you're an English major, or even if you're just taking an English course as an elective, you can look forward to reading it, because I really enjoyed it. Maybe, I know that reading what's on the syllabus can be really daunting at first, and also can be really not exciting. Like, I know I dragged my feet through a lot of these texts originally. As soon as I saw the teacher's enthusiasm for the text, I really enjoyed it. Let's get into the books, starting, I've organized them in chronological order as best I can, with the exception of the first book I'm going to show you. This is John Culler's Literary Theory, A Very Short Introduction. This is a great series. I only have this book, but I want to get other books. It's a snapshot overview. It's like a very long Wikipedia entry about how to study literature. Probably the worst class I ever taught. I read my students what is literature and does it matter, because I was so pumped up about it, and my students just like, I don't know what I was doing. It was Comp 2. This was way over the board, but it's okay. I really recommend this chapter. I really recommend this book. You can probably get it used for like 2 cents or 1 cent with shipping. It's just it's a great video. I mean, it's a great book. And I want to get more of these. I think there is an introduction to feminist theory, and I'm like, I know I want that. Does it have a list of other books in the series? Yes. Ha! Okay, and next, there's one last page. I'm gonna look through this and buy all the ones that I want. Wouldn't that be fun? I think chronologically this is first. It might not be, but I read Ovid's Metamorphoses in like a survey of literature class. I really enjoyed it. We didn't read everything, but we read a lot of the stories. It's organized into books, but I really enjoyed this. And one of the best things about reading Ovid's Metamorphoses is you see how often these stories have been reused in other ways in the future, and they get retold all the time, they get reused. I myself wrote a paper about how the story of the woman who turns into a tree gets reused in Pygmalion and then gets used in My Fair Lady. And then there was that TV show Selfie that died that was kind of a rewrite of that. Next recommendation is The Odyssey by Homer. I'm sure if you're an English major, you're gonna have to read this. This is the translation that we did by Richard Lattimore from Harper Perennial Modern Classics. I just really enjoyed the story and the way the teacher taught this book. I do not recommend the Aeneid, however, and it was part of, like, her teacher told us that she went to another faculty member and was like, now we've read the Odyssey and now we're reading the Aeneid, and all of my students are just like, why are we, like, the Aeneid is just the worst. And it is, because the Odyssey and the Iliad are so much better. So I don't know what happened to my copy of the Iliad. It's disappeared, but I recommend the Odyssey and the Iliad. They're fun. Odysseus is the man. So, boo to the Aeneid. Speaking of Virgil, the Divine Comedy of Dante Alighieri? I read the Inferno, and this I enjoyed. The descriptions in here are so grotesque. I wrote a paper that won me $300 actually about the grotesqueness of one of these passages versus a passage in the Iliad, maybe? Like how much better this is than the Iliad. If you like grotesque descriptions of and kind of hellish things, I definitely recommend Inferno. I have not read the other two, plus this edition is really cool. It's a Bantam's classic. Here they've got they have the layers of hell and the universe of Dante, and even though I can't read it, it is cool because on the left side of the text is the original language, Latin, I believe, and the English translation is on the right. So very cool. So moving a bunch forward in time now into Middle English, getting to Chaucer. I read Troilus and Cressida by Geoffrey Chaucer in the original Middle English, which is really fun and challenging. Troilus and Cressida is a story that's been adapted tons of times. Chaucer actually adapted it from a Boccaccio story, the name of which I forget. It might even be included in here. It's like Il Filostrato or something? Il Filostrato, yes. Right, this one has the Il Filostrato on this page and Chaucer's story on the other page, so you can look at them both. We read them both, but Chaucer's is more fun. Because it's Chaucer and there's way more dirty jokes! And it's in Middle English, whereas this is in translation. Next, the Canterbury Tales! This is again in Middle English. I was scared of reading things in Middle English, so I bought the English translation, but I've since I sold that to Half Price Books because now I can read Middle English no problem. So if you're scared of reading Middle English, it's like learning a bike. It's learning any other skill. It's just reading English that's old. It's really fun once you get the hang of it, and then you're like, it's kind of like you know another language. It's not really, but it kind of is. And it's a fun party trick to have when you're hanging out with a bunch of nerds. As I do. Oh, I had a pronunciation cheat sheet. I'm such a nerd. This is the end of the olden times to Middle English section. This is the end of part 1. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with part 2. Books to Huda! Here's the stack.